Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorgerson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And it is the holiday season, and so we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't tell you about awful Christmas projects out there. What to avoid and things we'll watch so you don't have to watch them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I sacrificed myself for the world, and I just want to let you guys know that Red One is as bad as they say it is.
Well, depending on who you ask.
No. I don't know. I don't know anybody I trust who has enjoyed this movie, and that includes my own eyes. You can tell that if you just had the base script, the final draft of the script, I'm guaranteeing you there is a good, fun, over the top, goofy Christmas movie there. The problem is that you have people like The Rock, who thinks he's in a genuine action movie. Mm-hmm. You have Chris Evans, who thinks he's in an Ocean's 11 movie. And you have Kiernan Shipka, who's the only one who realizes the assignment and plays the most amazingly over-the-top villain ever. So I think if you had a different director, you might have a good movie.
Were these guys all in the same scenes together?
Yes.
And they're all playing off different...
You just get this weird vibe, like nobody knew what they were supposed to be doing, so they all go... It's like they had wanted to ask what's my motivation, but decided to ask the wrong person. There's a lot of fun gags, but when it comes to holiday movies, Red One is the dark phoenix of holiday movies. There's a lot of good scenes, and it would be a great movie if everybody was on the same page.
Mm. And how much did they spend to make this thing? Because it's
entirely too much.
Yeah.
Because The Rock alone costs like, what, $3 billion?
Yeah.
How much does he cost, honestly, to do a movie? I mean, and you're getting The Rock every time. We love The Rock, but let's face it, his range is not really...
He's The Rock.
Right.
It says $250 million is how much it cost to make that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's insane.
And I mean, and I'm sorry, J.K. Simmons as a just like a jacked Saint Nick. I mean, he's probably the second reason to see this movie. The first one again being Kiernan Shipka. But yeah, the Rock and Chris Evans do nothing for this movie. But when you think about what they've done recently, other than Moana for The Rock,
right?
I mean, Chris Evans' only good movie since he stopped doing Marvel films was Knives Out. Knives Out.
Yeah, I liked him in Knives Out.
I loved him in Knives Out because he's a smarmy jerk, which is the same character he played so many times before. I hate the way that he played Johnny in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's the only part of Deadpool and Wolverine I don't like.
Johnny Storm.
Yeah, he played Johnny Storm. And then there's a really cute spy thriller rom-com movie called Ghosted where he hooks up with a spy and she kind of she ghosts him and he can't handle it. And that one's all right, but I mean, unless you like rom-coms, you're not going to watch it.
I gotcha.
So Chris Evans, if you're listening, which I know you're not, you need to go to Marvel and say, hey, you brought back Robert Downey Jr. You got a little cheddar for me?
They're gonna do, yeah. He looks good. He looks like he could step in, and so, hey, we didn't tee it up very well. We're also gonna talk to. Okay, so you're giving it what, 1 out of 10 sleigh bells?
No, it doesn't get sleigh bells. It is a level 4 on the colometer.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Ooh, 4 fruitcakes. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, on that,
that's the people that made the movie, so it might as well.
On that vein, I should say, in addition to ripping Red One, today we're also going to talk about robot fails because robots are going to be part of the gift giving holiday, and I hope we have time to talk a little bit about Hot Frosty. But
did you watch it?
No, but I saw enough about it that I think it's worth commenting about. Did you have something, Max?
I wanted to kind of throw a little bit of a wrench in the discussion and wish a very happy belated birthday to Dumb and Dumber.
No.
Really?
No.
What? Oh, it's their 30th anniversary.
30th anniversary.
Wow.
Really? Now, talk about a classic. That's a movie you can get behind.
You could make 2 Dumb and Dumber movies off of The Rock's budget alone.
That movie literally is only 2 steps above Red One when it comes to the greatness of insanity. Now, if only they had
Wait a minute. Those are fighting words.
No. Here. I'm going to be honest with you, Jay. I love that movie, but it's not a good movie. But you know me.
What does that mean?
All right, so
It's not. It's a masterpiece, in my opinion. It is a comedy. What do you think, Alyssa?
Okay, well,
Mediate this. This is a classic.
I wasn't allowed to watch that movie, so I've never seen it.
What?
Oh no,
You're
no,
an
you can't.
adult
You
now.
cannot give her
I
grief
am an
about
adult
not seeing
now,
Dumb and
but-
Dumber when you still haven't seen The Fifth Element.
That's
No,
true.
this
You
is-
should
this
not be
is
able to
beyond.
You
host
haven't
Geek
seen
Tank
The
Radio.
Fifth Element?
No,
Oh my
and
He
I,
doesn't have a geek card.
No,
He does not have a geek card.
I
I'm
think
telling
you'd
you.
really
no.
enjoy it.
But anyway, I
Dumb
love
and
Dumb
Dumber
and Dumber.
was why I quit going to theaters.
Well, that's no. You're talking about the audience though.
No, I was talking about everything in that theater.
Um,
I thought if you paid money to see this or have this made, there is no hope for humanity on this
Well,
earth.
I mean, it's not Dumb or Dumberer. I mean,
I didn't see it in a theater, so my experience is a little different. And I had no interest in this movie, and I can just tell. So you said 30 years, so doing the math, I remember
1994.
one of
Yeah.
the first this is one of the first movies I met, or this is one of the first movies I rented with my future wife, and so I met. Gosh, I think I knew her about a month or two. We said, let's rent a movie, and back in those days, you had to go get the movie. And I almost
Okay.
had to go to
hyperventilated.
Blockbuster and
Okay.
I almost hyperventilated laughing so hard.
All right.
And when she was laughing at the same things, I thought, okay, that's a good
Okay,
sign.
okay,
Because
you-
otherwise, this could have been the end of the relationship.
You have an emotional anchor to the movie.
Oh, I do.
So the fact that the two of you found the same parts funny and everything else, and it showed
That
the
is cute.
kismet that came together for you to become, a couple and then have your wonderful family and everything else. I can understand why Dumb and Dumber is always going to be an amazing movie for you. And I laugh my butt off at it. Don't get me wrong. But it is one of those movies where somebody said, uh-oh, Jim showed coked up again.
I don't know.
And we can't control him.
You know how people say something is objectively something? I just think this movie is objectively hilarious. It never gets old for me. I think it's...
I didn't laugh
and I don't,
once.
Yeah, well, big surprise, okay. It's juvenile, stupid, gutter humor, but it's awesome.
It is the worst parts of Beavis and Butthead without the music video.
No,
I laugh my butt off at it every time I see it.
a comedy classic. Thanks for bringing that to our attention, Max.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Drop the racing form and step away from the TARDIS. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, boy, off mic, we need to just leave the mics running from now on, Max, and just see what we get.
Joe's
it could be
probably
bonus
got a point
material.
And
And
our FCC violations.
well, some of our
I would
best.
have to sit there and go, every time
It could be
Brandon took a
the-
deep breath,
Yeah.
I'd have to hold the button down.
The unplugged.
Look,
Some of our best content happens off mic.
right,
I
and
hate to
if
say
you
it.
guys have to come up with a special, sound effect to block out any vulgarities that come out of my mouth in the middle of a discussion off air,
Yeah.
just you're going to edit it before it goes up on our podcast page. It's not going out on the air.
Well, you guys were okay. I was raking Alyssa over the coals, but that she's never seen Dumb and Dumber. In my mind, a true comedy classic. I mean, I never get sick of it.
She's
Alan didn't
missed nothing.
laugh once.
She's missed nothing but wasting 2 hours of her life.
And for years, since I've known you guys, you've raked me over the coals for not watching The Fifth Element. And my fear is not my fear. It's just I'm jaded because you guys also love the movie Blade Runner, which. The first one, which is as boring as can be.
No, Blade Runner.
I don't like that.
Blade
No,
Runner
Joe,
is a
you're-
movie for a villain.
You were completely wrong on that
Okay.
because I will tell you, Blade Runner is a staple of the sci-fi geek kingdom, but it really is boring as all get out. I don't enjoy that movie at all.
It is not a Gryffindor movie.
Okay, then what's the selling point for it?
The selling point is you're hitting all of your base elements of a true hard sci-fi. This is the crowning example of that genre. It is an intense movie if you like to solve the mystery because you have a dark shadow hanging over your head this entire movie. There is no levity, there is no hero, there is no protagonist, and you have got twist on twist on twist, and they're all hard.
And
This
it's
is not a happy movie.
raining. And I love
The
it.
Yeah,
entire
don't discount
time.
that.
So I'm-
Raining sets a mood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it a different way. Again, you basically have to pay me or drug me to get me to watch Blade Runner again.
Yeah.
Any of the variations.
That's fair.
But the truth of the matter is that when you watch Blade Runner, you can see the seeds that are basically going to grow into
Yes.
every other sci-fi franchise you've ever seen.
Yep.
I mean, and it has one of the most iconic monologues ever, the whole Tears of Rain thing. And not only that, Rutger Hauer
Tears
was...
in Rain.
Yeah, Tears in Rain. Rutger Hauer was so meta that he actually passed away on the year that the movie took place in, 2019.
Yeah.
And
Rutger Hauer's a great actor.
Did you know, just a little Geek Tank history here, if you listen to the original Bad Geek Confessions intro, there's a line from that monologue.
Oh, there is. Which one? I don't remember.
I actually have the Bad Geek Confession pulled up real quickly if you want me to
Yeah,
hear it.
hit it because, folks, the Bad Geek Confessions are out on the table. We'd love to get yours, so go ahead.
Absolutely.
Max.
I'm going to tell you something about me that only 3 people in my life know. Can I trust you?
Please sit down, Mary. I'm going to tell you everything.
Everyone has secrets. Everyone tells lies.
Obi-Wan never told you
This isn't the
what happened with your father.
I've seen things.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Yeah, that didn't sound like
but
it to me.
the-
But,
No, I've
seen things. That's part of that monologue. But
okay.
the thing is, that's not the original one.
Well,
Because Vader's not in the original one.
Oh, okay.
I'm
we're
also-
going back because don't forget we're approaching the within a few months we're going to be at 10 years of Geek Tank Radio.
all right.
so.
Well, all right. Look at it this way. Have you
ain't that
ever
freaky?
read Frankenstein? I don't mean
Yes.
seen a movie.
Well, I
Have
listened
you
to the
read
audio
it?
book, so
All
that
right,
counts.
all right, you read the audio, or you
Yeah.
listened to the audio
Right.
book. Okay. Frankenstein is nothing in that book is happy. The modern Prometheus, there's nothing about it that's happy.
Yeah, it's not a
Nothing.
laugh riot.
Absolutely nothing. Welcome to Blade Runner.
Well, the
Because
problem.
the most touching scene in there is when Rutger, who is just a murderous beast, you know everybody he's talking to is going to die. I mean, you know from the minute you see him, everybody's going to die. And here's this really touching scene where a scientist tells him, looks at him and goes, "I made your eyes." And he turns around and he goes, "Let me tell you what I've seen with your eyes."
Oh.
And those are the moments you go to Blade Runner for. You are not going to Blade Runner to walk out light and lighthearted. You are walking out worried to death about the fate of mankind.
Very contemplative.
Yeah.
Much like the original Frankenstein, the modern Prometheus, that is what you go to that movie for. Now, you go to a movie like The Fifth Element if you are ready to eat a whole lot of popcorn,
And have fun.
giggle and laugh, and you and your date have a fun time.
And I'm going to tell you this about the Fifth Element. It's going to show you that point where even at their most dismal point, humanity can rally.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, now that's the
Yeah.
kind of theme I like.
No, it's
I
so
like stuff like
beautiful.
that.
It's
okay.
about love.
Don't
and
spoil it.
Yeah,
then.
no, it's
well,
just
there's
it's
a great
wonderful.
I didn't
line.
know there was a redemption.
No. There's a
Yes.
great line in there.
Don't
where-
tell me.
No, I'm going to tell you the great line because it
I
will
don't
make you
wa-
want to go to the movie.
No, you're going to ruin it
No,
for
I
me.
No,
won't
not.
ruin it for you.
No, because it
Go
does nothing to
ahead.
do. The great line is,
Yeah.
how long do I have? You have about an hour. And he goes, well, I'll call you back in an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of that optimism of, all right, we're at the end of the universe.
All right.
And if I can call you back,
In
I
an
will.
hour and 5.
You know?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it's so good. The costume design is beautiful. They had a French designer do it all.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
one of my favorites too. It's so campy. It's so beautiful.
And the
acting,
greatest opera song
incredible.
ever.
Yes.
Here's my question for you, Joe. You've seen Valerian, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about
Been a while.
Valerian?
I don't remember. I think I saw it and it was like sort of okay. It's not a great movie, but I think I had fun at certain points. so.
Imagine if it was better.
See, now this is what happens when that director is wrangled in.
Okay.
So you don't get
And-
that weird.
Has a better cast.
Well, yeah, way better cast.
Yeah.
Nothing against Dane DeHaan, and yes, it's all about Dane DeHaan. He sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Well, I not to end this on a thud, but one of the reasons I hate Blade Runner 2 is I've never thought Harrison Ford is a good actor.
He's not.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just like, okay.
He's
Did I
not-
just
he's- no, you're right. He's not a good actor. Nobody in the original trilogy of Star Wars outside of Alec Guinness and James Earl Jones were great
so
actors.
Fair.
That's
the problem
true.
is they embody their character.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's got
How about Ian
charisma.
McDermott from the original trilogy?
Who?
I'm an Emperor.
Yeah, but he's not in the original Star Wars.
All right. Anyway. All right. When we come back, we promise we're going to talk about holiday stuff.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Please, you give me too little credit.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And before the conversation moves in a new direction, which I hope it's going to, I just want to put it out there, and maybe we'll circle back on this in a bit or next week, but I just want to say that Ryan George is a gift to humanity. He's the host of the Pitch Meetings videos, some of the most entertaining videos out there. And I filter my movies through Pitch Meeting videos.
The only problem is he's Canadian.
Well,
I did not realize Max was a xenophobe.
Max is always bashing the Canadians. Well, despite his Canadian heritage, the guy is awesome. He has a great. If you don't want to bother watching Red One, just watch his pitch meeting for it. And on that note, I just want to really quickly say maybe we could review this. Let's do this by next week. Make sure all of you guys have watched the Hot Frosty pitch meeting.
Oh.
I almost once again hyperventilated from laughing so hard. It is great, and this movie looks weird and twisted and destined to be another holiday classic.
It's Lacey Chabert. Oh.
But hats off to Ryan George for keeping us laughing all these years. So
I'm going to admit something that's horrible.
Yeah.
I love me some bad Hallmark-style Christmas movies, and Lacey Chabert is actually
the queen.
She's really
She's
good in them.
Susan Lucci.
Oh, so she's the Hallmark lady. Because I don't recognize her. So, okay.
She's done a few since she realized that everything else she did was too raunchy. Or Party of Pie.
Well, Hallmark might not want her back after this one. So anyway,
well,
we'll review that next week. But so shifting gears, robots, AI are the days of Tickle Me Elmo or Furbies or those others have really evolved, and so people are giving robots. Furby was a robot, right? I mean, an AI.
Sort of, but. Calling Furby is almost a wooden duck compared to modern robot toys.
Well, and we know that's going to be at the top of Alyssa's gift-giving thing. You want as many robots, artificial intelligent items as you can get in your home, right?
Everyone on my Christmas list is getting their own personal robot butler assistant friend.
Okay.
Is that why I saw you at the gun show?
Yeah, I'm buying them all guns too, yeah.
There you go. She's going to arm them up. But there's been some great robot fails. Just real quick, I do have a question. Is Alexa outdated? I haven't used my Alexa in a couple years, but
no. I have friends whose whole house, all their Hue lights are Alexa controlled, so their whole house is Alexa, turn on my lights.
I've literally got an outdoor plug unit for my Christmas lights and whatnot.
Okay.
It has it will automatically connect to an Alexa if I allowed one in my home.
Yeah. Oh, so you don't have one in your home. Okay.
The novelty has worn off.
That's what I wondered.
Alexa is so hacked at this point.
Mm-hmm.
As a computer programmer, people are like, wow, I bet you got gizmos all over your house. Yeah. I'm like, I barely have electricity.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
You don't even own a
microwave. I don't want to be so dependent on them because if we do have a solar flare that knocks out all of our technology and all you people whose whole lives revolve around your little computers are going to be ruined. But I can still lock my front door.
That's right.
So get wrecked.
And that is the important part.
Yeah, that's true. So
I've been to your neighborhood.
Yeah.
But we're seeing they're creeping in, you guys. I mean, we're seeing robots.
They're not creeping in, dude. They're like every price you want from $9.99 on up.
And when it comes to AI, people that I know who were vehemently against AI less than a year ago are relying on things like the Meta AI and Gronk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, dude, if you're not willing to let it do your quote unquote art for you, don't say, all right, I need a form letter so that I can apply for a job or send this message to a friend.
No, it's one of my biggest pet peeves because I know that it's hard and it's hard to find resources to learn how to do certain things, but it's such valuable knowledge to know how to do that yourself. And if you constantly are just getting AI to do it for you, what about when you actually get the job and you don't know how to do any of the things to write an email? You're just going to have ChatGPT write every email for you for the rest of your life?
That's true.
That's insane.
And I mean, you think about the people who use it to write law briefs, and they found instances where it's citing cases that don't exist. Because
they're published cases, but they're fictional published cases.
Yeah.
I got a question about all this because, okay, I'm sitting here looking at my smartphone.
Right.
Well, one of the things that's really irritated me, I don't want to call out Apple by name, but I guess I will. I had a perfectly good, I took good care of it. I had an Apple 6 iPhone, which you guys all laughed at me. But it worked. There was nothing wrong with it, but it was built-in, what do they call it? Built-in obsolescence. And eventually, even though this phone should have functioned perfectly, it stopped functioning because they wouldn't update it and they wouldn't. Okay,
you get to a certain point where they say
can't get the
that
upgrade anymore.
they basically put it into the code that the new iOS won't be compatible with something within the firmware
because they want you to buy more. So here's my question: are robots and AI programs built with that same obsolescence?
Absolutely.
And what happens when you start relying on it, and then you really do become a slave to technology?
We do not live in a Star Trek world.
Right.
But this is also kind of getting creepy too. If you have built-in obsolescence with something that has questionable sentience, like artificial intelligence,
there you go.
Centuries of disposable people, like they said in Star Trek.
There you go. Yeah. What if you become buddies with your computer? And now it's like, sorry, you're out of my life. I mean, people could form emotional attachments.
They already
with
have
these
kids who are having huge issues because they're getting emotionally attached to conversations they're having on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's
unsafe.
I mean, you really want to see how things go? Check back with me after the first of the year, since DC is letting the TikTok ban go through.
Yeah.
The what?
The ban on TikTok is slated to go through. The federal judges did not block the injunction. It is
so unless they sell it to someone else.
Unless they sell it to somebody else, it will
in America,
be banned
you will
in the
not
U.S.
be able to use TikTok.
Watch the people melt down.
Oh, so people that make their living as influencers.
Yeah. People who make their living, people who basically live through their entertainment by watching TikTok videos.
I don't know, man. We really need to get off our phone. We get back to nature. Go hang out with some SCA guys that teach you how to hunt, how to fight, how to defend yourself.
All they're going to do is tell you to watch these YouTube videos.
Okay.
I know a handful of them.
All right. Well, we'll see if we have any uplifting Christmas stuff when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
They are still coming through. This is impossible.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And try as we might, boy, this stuff this conversation is always going to stir up Allie, the youngest panel member here, who is vehemently against artificial intelligence, robots, Well, we don't blame you.
Yeah,
Alyssa. I mean, it's a healthy skepticism that you have, but we were talking a little bit about. You said that Elon Musk. I did see the video where he had those robots that he unveiled at some whatever that thing is that he did, a technology expo or something. And you're saying celebrities are bringing these home, right?
Yeah, they gave one to Kim Kardashian, so she has one, and they just had footage of her assistant was in the mall with it, and it went shopping with her assistant and was carrying all the bags for her, and hangs out with her in her house and does stuff to try to be isn't it cool to just have a robot friend? Don't you want to purchase this one day?
The thing
I'm sorry. I remember Bicentennial Man way too well.
Influencers are trying to normalize slavery again?
That's what I was going to say. The way they rolled it out, it looked, it was identical to iRobot. And isn't the name even a play on iRobot?
Well, yeah, because Elon isn't actually innovative in any
he's not creative.
You mean Lex?
Huh?
Yeah, but it's
you mean Lex?
No, do not insult Lex Luthor that way.
Is the biggest problem with robots? Here's what
Luthor was a cool villain.
I seriously think. Let me ask you guys this. I seriously think the problem with robots is they're trying to make them look like us. If a robot just looked like R2-D2 or something, we wouldn't have the same anthropomorphizing going on.
I'm just going to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
Or
Why do we want robots that look like us? So they can infiltrate and terminate us.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Skynet all over again.
It's just like when you see a car coming at you and the headlights look like a face and they look like and if it looks like a Jeep where it's got the scowling eyes, you think that's a bad person driving that Jeep. Or,
well, I mean, they're driving a Jeep. They're either a bad person or a hippie.
Anyone driving a car with LED lights, I think they're a bad person.
Especially when they blind. Yeah.
Have you? Speaking of which, it's off the subject for a minute. Have you ever looked at the back of the package for LED bulbs that literally say for off-road use only?
No.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That's pretty good.
We need robot cops.
Yeah.
But Max, you said something off the air that got me thinking about the legalities here.
Because especially if you have something that has questionable sentience, it's like again, that sounds like the name of like a rock album. But the idea of, well, what is the legality of if a robot kills a particular person? Because how do you try a robot if it's not even a person? Would you try it as a machine? Would you try the person who created it?
You totally don't try the robot. Even if it's an artificial intelligence, it is an object that is owned by someone. If it kills, just like anybody else who can be held accountable if their gun is used in a homicide.
That reminds me of a philosopher who said that said something about that back in the day. Like the morale. He equated it though to like one's pets as opposed to like artificial intelligence.
Well, what do you think of this legal case? So Kim Kardashian has her 5-year-old. The robot walks the child to the automated self-driving car. The car drives the kid 50 miles to grandma's house, and on the way gets in a car accident. So who gets sued? Who's going to jail?
So I've had this discussion before. I actually had this discussion this past a couple weeks ago at MCFC. It's the person in the other car is the one who gets blamed because as long as there's no digital problem or GPS problem with the actual vehicle that the child is in, the fault of the accident will always fall into the person who could have moved their car.
Okay.
Interesting.
Can you let a guard?
This was a lawyer telling me this.
Is an automatic car, self-driving car, a legal guardian? Like, can you leave your 5-year-old?
No. You still get in trouble for reckless endangerment.
Okay, but you
but
can put your.
Yeah, so curious about how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
If the Tesla robot people become more common and like people are buying these robot people to have in their houses, I do wonder how long it'll take before they can start babysitting.
So here's how it'll go: is that you'll have the robot as the quote unquote babysitter, guardian, whatever. The person who owns that robot, if something happens to the child, it will only be a matter of, I'd say, 15 cases. Because it'll happen really quick. Upon 15 cases, there will be a class action suit for anyone who owns one of these against Elon Musk and the XAI company. You know, that place here in Memphis where they build the batteries and want to take all the power. Anyway, I'm not saying... I did say that. Forget it.
Yeah,
it's true.
I'll say it.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. In fact, I know this happens. You can have your 6-year-old, you take your 6-year-old to the airport, you walk up to the gate, and they'll have a stewardess or somebody that will watch that child. They'll fly to California and then gets picked up by their parent.
Now it's going to be robots.
Yeah.
So now who's at fault? I don't know.
Well,
man.
here's the thing. Whenever anything happens to an unaccompanied minor during a flight like that, it does fall upon the responsibility of the flight crew.
Okay.
I don't know. Y'all are talking about all the big stuff.
Yeah.
Alan wants to know what happens when his irrigation robot ruins his crop.
I'm looking at, just for fun, I went to a major international cheapy website.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sitting here looking at all of the robot smart dogs that you can get for under $30. And this is not a short list. Or the massive functioning comprehensive partner. So you can get
keep it clean.
This is still a family show.
Yeah.
This is a large, smart, emo RC robot.
Okay.
I'm like, it's already depressed. It comes pre-programmed to be depressed. So,
no. That just means it's used.
Let me help.
I'm just looking at the sheer volume
I
of
can't wait
voice
for the
control
4-part
robots
series on
for under $100.
And what about the
how do I save my
robot?
depressed robot boyfriend?
The robot junkyard and the we're heading in weird directions. Sorry, folks. We tried to end it on a happy note, but I guess it's whatever.
I think a concluding thought about all of this is artificial intelligence and our use thereof, I think, is more of a reflection of ourselves than the machines themselves.
We're doomed.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, everybody. You've been listening to another cheerful episode of Geek Tank Radio. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Melissa Diggs.
And I am Brandon Olmsted, hoping you remember to jingle all the way to your robotic doom.